John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Series testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing another model of Slick Trick. I've tested quite a few over the years, but today I'm going to be testing their classic, actually their original, the Slick Trick Magnum. This is a 4-blade, 1 1/8 inch cutting diameter broadhead. I remember these coming out way back and being really intrigued by them. And I hunted with the Slick Trick Standards, which are just a smaller version of this with a 1-inch cutting diameter for a number of years, quite successfully. So now I'm finally getting around to testing out the Magnum. And for this, I'm going to be using my regimen for 2022, which includes my Bowtech CP28 set at 72 pounds. And for the arrows, most of the shots I'm using the Bishop FOC King arrows. And then the really hard impact ones, I'm using the Bishop Fad Eliminators because they're just so super tough. And you can read all about my regimen for testing in 2022 in the description of each video. I go through each of the tests and explain the background, how I do them, why I do them, and so forth. And I also include the scores in that for each broadhead that I test. So let's zoom on in here and go through some of the design features and specifications of the Slick Trick Magnum and then put it to the test. Here's a good look at the broadhead. And man, this is just a really nicely designed broadhead. It's one of the first to come out with a super short overall profile. I remember talking to Gary Cooper, the original owner and designer, many times over the phone about these broadheads. And I shot the Slick Trick Standards for a number of years very successfully. They're 4 blades and they're put together by just 2 separate blades that interlock in what they call the Alcatraz containment system. And it really is a great containment system because the blades interlock. Like one isn't going to fall out. They're literally one fits inside the other and then is held snug by the force on your arrow. The ferrule is made out of steel. The whole thing is steel, but they call the ferrule made out of a super steel. And it's got a really pointy, very narrow tip. The cutting diameter on the Magnum is 1 1/8 inches with 4 blades, so that gives a really nice overall cut. The blades are 0.035 inches thick. And so really eager to put this head to the test and see how it performs. $175. It penetrated 7.5 inches. $175. It penetrated through 72 layers. It's in pristine shape after 3 shots through the MDF. Here's the Magnum after 2 shots through the steel plate, and man, it did really well. You can see that it's in very good shape. The tip got a little bit curled on the very end, and then 2 of the blades experienced a bit of edge chatter there. As you can see, those are not reusable. Interestingly enough, the other 2 are like in perfect condition, so it's interesting. I'm not sure what happened there, but overall, it did well through the steel plate. Here's the holes in the steel plate. They're not quite as square as, say, like the tooth of the arrow. That makes really square chunks. However, they're better than just 4 little slits, so pretty good holes right there. Here's a good look at it after impacting the concrete, and as you can see, it held together really well. Now the blades never reached the concrete, so they still have the same markings that they did after the steel plate. The tip got slightly curled, just a little bit more than it was after the steel plate, and then of course there's chips of concrete all fused to it, so that affects the spin a little bit, but really impressive durability overall. It held together very well on that 0 penetration test. So what do you think of the Slick Trick Magnum? Hey, I tell you what, this is a performer. I mean, this is just a classic broadhead. Of all the fixed blades that Slick Trick has, I think this is my favorite one. I mean, you're getting a really sizable cut, great durability, great penetration. Man, for the amount of cut that you're getting, really great penetration and very good flight. I mean, it really doesn't have much of a weakness. So you check out the score sheet and see how it performed in the areas that matter to you the most and see if it might be a good fit for you. But I say great job, Slick Trick. Okay, keep up the good work. Oh, and stay tuned for the total cumulative score as well as the overall Lusk grade.